It started just like any other day, with a tribute to the gods consisting of wine, 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 more wine, oh, and some cheese and olives. As I thought about the meaning of life and why am I wasting my time doing this, I just realized it's kinda mid, just like the Greek cities in Rome too. After a brief Heraclean rampage, I fall to the ground, and as my vision goes black, a figure appears before me. And now we're in Syracuse, the gem of Sicily, with Hiero II as our leader and the infamous nerd Archimedes as our advisor. We're gonna change the course of history. We're gonna make Atlantis rise from the depths, and we're gonna make the Greeks great again. The filthy Carthaginians owned most of Sicily and the other islands. The Romans mogged the different Italic tribes in Greek cities. So we're stuck between elephant crap and Italians. Great. We don't care about mainland Greece for now. We all know what's going on there. Thanks to Archimedes and him totally not partaking in the grass of the gods, our research rate is already booming. But what if we employed all of his eccentric ideas and dedicated Syracuse to becoming the city of progress? A place for all to master science and warfare. Compared to the days of legend, our armies have better equipment, but it seems the cost of progress was more male pattern baldness. The price we pay. An army of technologically advanced rock throwers and pointed stickmen won't be enough to protect us at the start. We have to manipulate people. Every aspiring e-girl needs a strong sugar daddy, so we're gonna suck up to Rome and declare war on the Etruscans for money and get a non-aggression pact. Daddy's happy, all we just gotta do is pay the tax. Let's send our wife to Rome for the feet pics tax, and it worked. She's back with a scientist. I told you, dude, Syracuse, the city of progress. I'm sick of sharing oxygen with Carthage, so I do what any self-respecting Greek would do and manhandle them into submission. We rush into battle with the speed of Zeus finding an unmolested maiden and decisively shatter the Carthaginians. When Greeks conquer, it's for gold, grass, or ass, and Carthage, as it happens, has all three of them. Syracuse is gonna rise like Atlantis, and for that to happen, every general needs to be a mastermind philosopher, every admiral a scientist of, ramming the enemy from any angle, and every noble a muscle nerd. I'm never financially gonna recover from this, but we're gonna recruit Campanian cavalry. Now, a lot of people still make the mistake of companions and companions, so let me fix this once and for all. Companions come from Campania, a region in Italy, and these are Greek companions. Carthage really enjoyed getting manhandled in Sicily, so they're back for round 2 with a giant navy. Yeah, Poseidon, if you're out there, I kinda really need you now. It's time to present Archimedes' new naval invention, the ship-throw Rockinator. But my aim sucks so bad they're gonna write a Greek tragedy about it. Our ships ram into the enemy just like Aeneas rammed the Queen Dido. All we do is for science, and our research shows that Carthaginians indeed suck at not drowning. Oh my god, look, a whale. Okay, now this is cute. Why is he smiling? As I was obsessed with whale spotting, I didn't notice the enemies ganging up on my giant ship, and just like my hopes and dreams, it sinks into the void. Even the whales swim away in shame, and that earthquake you just heard? That's Poseidon shitting himself with laughter. We do win the battle though, because the Carthaginians were too drunk on that piss they call wine, and they got slaughtered by a cavalry charge. What did we learn? I can't aim for shit. What did we also learn? I'm gonna need bigger boats. Since we're a society of progress, all the captives are gonna study how to efficiently work the field in chains. Out of nowhere, magical elephants and Carthaginians spawn trying to take their former cities, so I guess we gotta fight. Turns out there was nothing magic about them though. The general just used a 200 IQ move and he made the elephants walk into long, pointy sticks. Thanks to him, my army has a nice supply of elephant kebab. This is the look of a dead, uneducated man. Never be this guy. Stay in Greek schools, kids. After we send the rebels to a re-education camp, it's time for changes. We could invest into infrastructure and make Sicily rich, but nah, I'ma spend it all on mercenaries. It's time to invade Africa. To avoid accidentally hiring assassins to kill my son, I'm gonna send them away for education. I consent to playing siege battles like Persephone consented to getting abducted by Hades, still the healthiest Greek mythological marriage by the way. So yeah, look at me manually playing this epic siege of Carthage. Whoa, this is epic. All the loot from Carthage is going into educating the native populace on proper Greek values, as well as new inventions and reforms. Archimedes advised me, model my army after the successors of Alexander with pikes at the core, but this time we'll invest more into heavy infantry such as the Torakitai and light hoplites to cover the flanks. He's also working on a secret invention that is going to revolutionize warfare. Archimedes also presented me with a prototype for a mecha hydra, but as much as I want this, we kinda don't have the budget for at least another 2,000 years. Unfortunately, weaponizing the Cyclops, that were apparently native to Sicily, proved also impossible because we just couldn't find them. Another advisor asked, is this necessary? Why don't we just make Syracuse richer? Why bother with education and new army stuff? Bro, don't question your tyrant, nerd. So I sold him off to slavery.
Take him to Detroit. No! No, not Detroit! No! No, please!
It's good to be a tyrant. I'll sell you too if you don't subscribe. Capturing Carthage didn't sit too well with their Libyan lapdogs, so my damaged army from the very skillful auto-resolve has to take it out on the field. In a tactical display that would rival Alexander the Great, I place my levies on a ridge where they can't get flanked by superior numbers, and I set the enemy elephants on fire. They start throwing a tantrum like a Total War player when Medieval 3 hasn't been released, so they start killing their own men. My amazing Numidian mercenaries turned the elephants into badly mauled plush toys. Yo, I bet this guy mains Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat. And the decisive cavalry charge by the general's bodyguard and companions destroys the enemy. The Carthaginian is a peculiar animal. They're attracted to chains so much, the only right thing to do is send them all off to the mines. To be re-educated, of course, in proper Greek fashion. The hen or the egg? More like the Tyrannosaurus, or an ancestral Tyrannosaurid egg. As Thapsus falls, our son Gelon is finally a man. Great, this means I can take an all-expenses-paid tyrant vacation and embezzle the treasury alongside my sugar mommy. That means my son's gotta learn the art of war. Let's get him married while we're at it and... intelligent wife? Okay, you know what? This video is just writing itself. He is a political douchebag though. It's not all a game of nymphs and satyrs though. A giant Libyan army stands between us and the rest of Africa. Somebody decided to bless the rains here, so I can't panic the elephants with fire jabs, so we have to murder them instead, the old-fashioned way. I cry every time I see an elephant die, but I can't say the same for Carthaginians. Just like Kronos got tricked into swallowing a rock instead of baby Zeus, my slingers are gonna make the enemy swallow a whole load of rocks. A heroic cavalry charge and the enemy is no more. Our conquest is going great, but I'm a tyrant, man. I'm never satisfied. I need a new high, so we're gonna give a sudden middle finger to Epirus and take our new ships out for a spin. Instead of getting rammed by a roof tile like in real life, Pyrrhus shows that his Glug Glug game was pretty strong, just like the rest of the Epirotes who swiftly drown. While our navy blockades Apollonia, I'm gonna take a look at some diplomacy. And that's when I saw her, the Queen of Egypt. My pike suddenly got raised very high into formation, and that's when I knew I had to have her. Hero had to have her. But how do you marry a queen of one of the most powerful kingdoms in the world? Oh no, my wife ran into an accident, and now I'm single and ready to mingle. Ah, bro, why am I turning this into a Crusader Kings free game? I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm gonna show you the duality of man here, where I'm both a Giga Chad, as I am, and a soy. I offer to fight her wars, knowing I'm never actually gonna touch the enemy, and and I'm gonna milk her dry for a trade agreement. So now we're getting on her good side. Epirus dropped some pretty heavy insults on the Romans when I tried extorting them for peace, but after I slightly lowered the price, they proved in fact that, untrue to their word, they were cheaper than Roman graveyard hoes. And I proved myself to be a rat by backstabbing and getting some free real estate in Greece, as my navy lands, bombs Apollonia, and massacres the garrison. I also proved that I can't hit a giant pile of elephant dung when manually aiming. Come on, you know our lands need to be united. I really need your fertile river valley, but just like that, I'm in denial and she rejects me. What do you mean you don't agree to the meat of the proposal? Okay, maybe Hero isn't packing, but we have a saying, ne jebe lep, nego upora. And would you look at that? Syracuse and Egypt united in marriage. This totally won't give me a claim for a future war. Yeah, Athens, I bet you like it firm. Speaking of war, our navy's back at cleansing the Carthaginian infestation as they have a giant rat nest on Sardinia. After some lovely bombardment, I hit my first shot. Yo, this needs to be celebrated. We have another island to enslave. The Sardinians are about to learn how to read thanks to our generous library program. At this rate, the whole world will be full of muscle nerds. You can't say Hero ain't a Chad. He unified Sicily, brought most of the Carthaginian colonies under new management, libraries and gyms are all over the place. And he's banging the Queen of Egypt. Not only that, but he's got a grandson, Amintor, to carry on the legacy. Things can only go up from here. Nope. He died at the shock of Amintor's scare. What even is this? Rome has been oppressing the good Greeks of southern Italy for quite some time, and Gello, the new Tyrannosaurus, is about to show us why he possibly got murdered in real life in the first place. Rome is not only poorly reenacting the Punic Wars, but they're also fighting the Transalpine Celts. Gauls just want to have fun, so I'm gonna join in this war and hit Rome in the proper Greek way. From the behind. In the boot. The heel specifically. Why is Italy shaped so weird? We kidnap Brundisium after a skillful auto-resolve just like the Romans kidnapped the Sabines, but they won't go down without a fight. Our pikemen march, backed up by light hoplites and Numidian skirmishers, while the cavalry and heavy infantry screen the flanks. This is how you protect a phalanx, successors! Rome was so desperate it hired Chad Gaul mercenaries, and you know what? I just can't blame them for that. I'd do the same. Proving the superiority of Roman cavalry, they charge head-on into pikes and die. While you were studying the blade Romans, I was studying maths and how to hold a really long stick. I think we know who comes out on top. My Numidians and Torakitai come crashing down with the rage of the Titans themselves, and all that's left is a neat pile of Roman corpses. Anatomical studies, anyone? I listened to the Poseidon theme from God of War. How can I possibly lose a naval battle? By the giant burning balls of Helios, can I actually hit something? Finally! Just like Icarus, the Romans flew a little bit too high to the sun, so I just had to burn their wings away. But it does seem they float a little bit better than Carthaginians when exposed to water. Poseidon 1, Neptune 0. Italics and chains. Get it? I'm too old for this. After another failed attempt at stopping our heroic advance, the Romans are sent to the underworld while shouting Roma Invicta. I've been told it means no daddy, not the belt in Latin, but I don't know, man. I don't speak Latin. Have fun in Hades. Hades nuts. Megale Hellas is ours. All the Greeks cheer as the Roman oppressor is gone, and gyms, libraries, and wine flows freely through the land once more, in true Greek fashion. Okay, this Punic War timeline is just going haywire. Carthage owns Velatri, and there's a massive slave revolt in Corsica. My son, Amintor, is gonna have to put one of Archimedes' new inventions to the test. By combining the magic potion of the Balkan tribes, olive oil and ambrosia, which he assured me was certainly not lean, He created an explosive mixture that is gonna revolutionize warfare. And no, it's not mutated bees. Our willing test subjects did not really enjoy the non-lethal experience. Just like Prometheus, I'm gonna give them the gift of fire. The new Pike and Shot proved extremely successful, but more testing is required. Amintor was exploding on more than just the slaves, and look, he's got a son, a baby tyrant, Kremon. Honey, it's time for a weekly. I wish I uploaded that much. Reptilicus destroying Rome moment. Isn't it nice of Carthage to send more rats for our explosive testing? We encountered the magical, rare creatures known as the Iron Age Albanians, so we're gonna include them into our kingdom, just like everybody else. In libraries, of course, and in chains. Just like the mediocre epic The Last Roman, the last of the Romans live up to my expectations and painfully die. Italy is ours. Luckily, they already know how to read, so educating them won't be hard. You know, I thought I was gonna have a great relationship with the Celts. But they keep sending agents turn after turn to screw with me. The Insubres are gonna pay the blood price because their warrior queen just didn't want to feed her and chill. This brunette mommy, I'm gonna need some olive oil in 15 to 20 minutes. Be right back. Let's take a look at Greece meanwhile. Athens and Sparta are having their usual lovers quarrel, but why is it taking so long? Macedon is fighting all the barbarians. It's time for some mega mind tactics. I'm gonna turn the remaining Illyrians into our puppets, and while Macedon marches out there, we're gonna strike deep into their heartland, just like Alexander did to Hephaestion in the movie. Wait, the movie never clarified, was he a top? Bottom? Verse? I don't know. Now that we cut the head off the snake, they're begging for peace. Not only that, they're willing to pay a ton of gold and even become my client states. It's good to be tyrant. Even Carthage wants to give me a shower of gold, so I gladly accept their year's worth of treasury to stop bullying them. This breaks my heart, but we're gonna have to break the Celts into submission, and I have the perfect way of doing that. Explosion time! Hey, if this was my first time encountering fire raining from the sky, I'd panic too. So the tribesmen run straight into my cavalry. As for the queen, she gets the gift that keeps on giving. Javelins. I guess you could say this was a genuine win. I'm terrible. Furious at the loss of their Domimommy, a giant horde of angry Celts attacks us, and this is looking like it's gonna be our Thermopylae. We're gonna go down in history as legends. Who am I kidding? How can you lose with pikemen and bombs? Unfortunately for them, they didn't come into contact with Asterix tribes, so no magic potion could save them from death by long stick and big boom. You thought pikes were good at defending? Look what happens when you block an escape route. Now that we conquer the lands of the Cisalpine Gauls, we will rebuild them into a center of learning and gyms, where Celtic Chad and Greek Chad can coexist in peace. Not to mention adding them to my army, but I'm a tyrant, and I'm never satisfied. We've got a highly technologically advanced part of the map to add to our growing empire. The Balkans. The Franco-Daco-Illiro-Celtic population embraces the gym gladly, though the library part was a bit hard. By expanding so close to the Alps, we've opened Pandora's box and hordes of Germans just keep coming turn after turn. I'm gonna straight up say this out loud. CA knew what they were doing when they made the female models in Rome 2. You can't tell me they didn't predict only phalanx. They look like they could ruin my life. All she's missing are a few crappy face tattoos and you got daddy issues written all over her. Can you stop invading? I'm not Poland. Please, I'm winning. Breaking barbarians is good, but you know what's better? Giving a middle finger to Athens for the Peloponnesian War. Thessaly falls without resistance, but the boy lovers march on us with their advanced armies. Guys? I gave you like 50 turns or something. Is this what the so-called brilliant minds of Athens recruited? One of the world's renowned centers of learning taught cavalry to charge head-on into pikes? Okay, I believe this. Athens sends wave after wave of levies after us and even copycatted our Forakitai. But cheap copies just can't stand up even to basic pikemen. The waves keep coming, but luckily my Numidians have the perfect angle to fill up the Athenian rear with javelins. As is to be expected, the Athenian soy flees from the Sicilian Chad. Hey Lois, remember that time Athens invaded Syracuse and the survivors got enslaved? You probably know what's happening now. Aw, our little tyrant is all grown up and ready to take command. Sparta, being the opportunistic predator of both young and regular men, laid siege to Athens after we wiped out their army. A smart man would let him lose men during the siege and then attack. But I'm not a smart man, otherwise I wouldn't be making these videos. We attack! Sparta might be washed up, but they're not to be underestimated. Their hoplites still kick ass, and they've even added pikes to their army. Too bad we have giant explosive stuff to throw at them. Long stick man versus long stick man. Yeah, I kinda wonder who's gonna win this fight. The infantry clash on all sides is brutal, but if there's one thing you can count on when it comes to Sparta besides boy loving, it's terrible cavalry. So we're just gonna shatter their lines and they finally flee when their general gets rear charged. After bombing Sparta back into the Stone Age, not like they advanced much, our navy arrives just in time to storm Athens. Poseidon is kinda mad they didn't make him the god of the city. Just like Zeus' head was cracked when he gave birth to Athena, we crack the towers and walls open. The pathetic garrison can't stand against our professional army, and the City of Wisdom is actually under wise rule for once. Sparta falls and Greece is united under our leadership. To make things even better for us, the Egyptian queen is dead, so it's time to prepare to conquer our, totally rightful and not made up claim to the land. No, Gelon! You were supposed to become pharaoh! Now Amintor has to complete his grandfather's and father's work, but we kinda have a problem. He's stuck in barbarian land. Our conquest of Egypt has begun, and so far the Ptolemies are not offering any real resistance up until this battle. Oh my god guys, we're about to play Total War Pharaoh, where the Egyptian archers have been reduced from gods amongst men to low-tier mercenaries for hire, but the gods giveth and the gods taketh. And they're about to take an explosive load to the face. Point of view, you said Pharaoh was a good game before Dynasty's launch. Yo, I swear to god that one Egyptian soldier is just trying to mog us all. Poorly trained natives versus professional pikes? Yeah, I think I'm gonna enjoy being called Pharaoh from now on. Just as I'm eyeing my prize of Alexandria and being proclaimed the new son of Zeus Amon, the gods of movement range decide to stop me in my tracks, so I guess it was hubris all along. To make things better, the Kushites conquer a garrisonless Alexandria. My navy travels at the speed of Jason abandoning Medea for a younger woman to bomb the city, and I'm finally hitting something! The naval troops slaughter the levies while my army breaks through the gates. I don't know what the hell is going on, what even is this? But my pikes end up pushing through the walls somehow, and the Kushites get smoked. The rest of Egypt falls willingly to their new pharaoh. Look, a friendly faction that we've been trading with. Let's backstab them and conquer all the way to the Pillars of Heracles. I'm sure the Iberians won't mind. Numidian pirates? Yeah, I think they were probably, hell no, and just jumped into the water after they saw our fleet. Our navy has no problem taking the Syrian coast, and even the mighty Parthians are crapping their pajamas right now. Archer spam won't do them any good as we unload one of the new inventions, the Polybolos. This baby eats through horses like a glue factory. Now, if only you could invent some wheels to add to it. It's been well over 100 years and Archimedes is somehow still alive, and at this point I'm suspecting he's a vampire, shade, or one of the gods in disguise. From west to east, Syracuse reigns supreme. Greek is spoken all the way from the Pillars of Heracles in Spain and well past Mesopotamia. From Ethiopia to the Alps. We're in the golden age. Everyone's a muscle nerd, a Chad book reader. This might be the best timeline history has seen, but who knows? Guess we're just gonna have to theorycraft. But I hope you enjoyed the video though. If you want to see more content like this, feel free to like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff if you're crazy enough. There's a lot more coming. Wacky historical stuff, real historical stuff, so stay tuned. And until the next time...